I believe that yes, there's a kind of overall consensus that though the diplomatic contacts between Moscow and Kiev are continuing, right now it seems that they're not going anywhere. So that means the future is going to be decided primarily on the battlefield, and both sides are gearing up for a possible very serious confrontation uh, in the coming weeks. Though, of course, right now the time of year is not very good for any military action, especially maneuverable, swift military action. We're in the middle of the mud season, and there's also a lot of rain falling on the Great Russian Plain there. So that means troops are tied to roads, and their maneuverability is very limited in the number of roads there in the Donbass and in Kharkiv. And in the surrounding areas is very limited, and these roads are narrow and they're bad, and there's a lot of woods around, and so it's a bit of a problem logistically to kind of for the forces of both sides to get together, but they're doing their job and they're preparing. I believe the real action will begin maybe somewhere in May. The summer campaign is coming.
Anton, let me pick up on what Pavel said, Putin mentioning that these talks are at a dead end. Where are the talks? It seemed like there were some talks early on. From a diplomatic standpoint, where do you see things right now?
Well, unfortunately, Putin's right on this particular issue. The Russians are accusing the Ukrainians of pulling back from the provisional conditions, deep, discussion points that had been tabled at Istanbul. The Ukrainians are accusing the Russians of not following through on talks and relying on the military. In other words, moving ahead with the military campaign while trying to reach a diplomatic solution. And I have to tell you that I don't really see a diplomatic way out right now until either one side makes a very important concession and decision to continue with talks, or both of them are convinced by outsiders to continue talking. But unfortunately, I agree with Pavel. I think there's a massive campaign coming. We see all the signs of this. And so the geopolitical weaponization of mutual accusations of genocide, unfortunately, that we've seen flying back and forth over the past weeks are making any attempt to actually compromise increasingly difficult. This demonization of each other, both by the Ukrainians and the Russians and by outsiders, it's not going to help.